Life is a ride. Life is a ride. Life is a ride. Life is a ride along. Welcome to the experience. Welcome to the journey. Welcome to the journey. A movement. This is Ridealong Live, where everyone has a story to tell.
Hey, I got some good news for you. Looking for a passionate immigration lawyer with experience that spans over 2 decades? Someone trusted that served immigrant families just like yours? Well, look no more. Now you can benefit from her personal and professional experience. Diane Winter Funde. Schedule a consultation now and get assistance with your immigration journey. Specialize in adjustment of status, B1 business visa, B2 visitor's visa, consular processing, deportation defense, naturalization, and more. Give us a call today at 813-815-3529. That's 813-815-3529 or online at winterimmigration.com. Attorney Diane Winter Funde. Law done differently.
Be firm in this time, son. You gotta be strong.
I'm here now. I'm here now.
Oh, survivor.
Come on, tone it down.
Welcome to the ride. Welcome to the ride. Welcome to Monday on the ride, my favorite day. Favorite day of the week, Monday. Wait, all start. It all starts on a Monday. Welcome to the ride, guys. As you come in, go ahead and share up the program, share up the thing, put it on your page. As you come in, go ahead and share the program, share up the page, share up the thing. Pleasant good evening to you. And as you share, I want you to say, I share. As you share, I want you to say, I share. Good evening to you, Joan. Good evening to you, Rena Noel. Oh, Lord of mercy. Woo! Chopper John West, good evening to you. Rena, Esther Mitchell, good evening to you. Everybody, as you come in, just share up the thing and say, I share. Darren Lang. I got 2 pieces of information for you, and I will tell all you early. Good evening to you, Darren Lang. How are you doing? Moisha Rush, my good friend over there in Trinidad. Happy belated birthday to you. Hope you're doing well. I saw you had a nice birthday celebration. I didn't get no invitation. All I see is pictures. All I saw was pictures, Moisha Rush. Janelle John, I share. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. Guys, share up the program. Demini Dowden. How are you doing, Demini Dowden? I share. And let me know where you guys watching us from. It's important that we know where you're watching us from. Let us know. Hazel Ferguson, I share. Nafisia Evans. How are you doing? Big up yourself. Who else? Genevieve Gita, Kibbs. All right, let me tell you something from the start. I'll tell you guys something from the start because it might be disappointing to some. So I'm going to tell you very early. Today, we were scheduled to have an exclusive interview with Rena. All right, the young lady name that was mentioned in a recently publicized video that was viral on social media over the past weekend. Now, shortly before program time, that interview had to be rescheduled because I'll tell all you straight, I ain't sugarcoating it. There was a lot of pressure that was put on the young lady not to tell her story. And we understand her situation. We understand as it relates to coming on a program like this and sharing your story on a program like this and the pressure that comes in. There was immense reaction from social media. People who started to throw a slew of negativity, both her way and my way. We got it all. We got a lot of pushback from the program, but we were going to do the program regardless of the pushback because we believe that everyone have a story to tell. Now, we have been promoting this from day number 1. But because of the immense pressure, I could only assume that was put on the individual. Rena decided to not do the program today. We posted this earlier that she would not be on the program today, and I hope you guys understand. And we respect her opinion, and we respect her decision, and she will share her story in her time when she feels comfortable to do so. So that's what's going to be, that's what not going to be happening today. All right. I hope you guys understand very clearly. And you understand that, she, and someone says she's right. She have the opportunity to share her story whenever she want to. And if she decide not to, that's her responsibility as well. But let me speak to specifically people that are whether in this ecosystem, social media ecosystem. It makes it sometimes very difficult to get your message across. A lot of people are going through a lot right now. People are going through some psychological issues, Jed. It's very evident from what we saw. There was a lot of things that go in with through people's mind right now. People need friends to talk to, even if not coming on a platform, but people need genuine friends, people that they could call and talk to and talk about things and talk about life and express themselves. People are crying out for assistance. And I want us to all be a good friend. And whenever we see a situation like that, or if ever we see a situation like that, we embrace the opportunity to be a good friend. All right. And I hope you guys understand. Again, but in fact, we do have a very, very enlightening and informative program for you guys today. Today, let me turn on my music so I could get everyone focus on the gentleman that we have here and we're going to be chatting with. The gentleman that we have here is an esteemed lawyer from Grenada. He represented so many different clients. I've seen him on so many different news outlets defending his position. Have very strong position on many subjects. And he don't hold his tongue. And today we're going to be speaking about a number of issues, a range of issues, ranging from the legalization of marijuana. We're going to be speaking about that. There was a bill that was tabled sometime a few months ago that was supposed to be heard in Congress. The bill was pulled. We want to know about the status on the bill and what the legal community is doing. We're going to speak about the CDC. We'll speak about coronavirus. We're going to speak about everything. And we'll get your opportunity to chime in as well. Guys, I would like you to welcome with us on the ride today. His name is lawyer, counsel Anslem Clouden. Mr. Clouden, are you there? Could you hear me, sir? All right.
I must
Yes,
express
sir.
my gratitude for having me on the program.
Mr. Clouden, it's always our pleasure to have a learned person like yourself to give us all this update and information on so many topical issues that's affecting Grenadians, not only here in the diaspora, Grenadians living in Grenada. And I know you're outspoken critic on so many issues. So we think you're the best person at this time to give us the information on that. So again, Mr. Clouden, welcome to the program here. I want to start with a very controversial topic, and a topic that I know you've been very vocal on, and it has to do with the legalization of marijuana. And we saw in a news brief from Canada, Canada legalized marijuana, I think it was a few years ago. And because of the legalization of marijuana in Canada, we saw that it was able to boost their GDP by 8.26 billion, and that was in 2019, I believe. Tell us about the legalization of marijuana, Mr. Clouden, and what do you think that would do to an economy like Grenada?
Yes. Well, I'm happy to begin again. It's now over 20 years that I have been advocating the wisdom in legalizing or initially decriminalizing the use of cannabis for medicinal purposes in the first instance.
Right.
And secondly, the use of cannabis for recreational purposes.
Yes.
Those are two areas of tremendous importance. But then you have the CBD, which you extrapolate from the plant. that is good for just about everything else. So that falls under the medicinal umbrella. Good for epilepsy. It's good. And these things are scientifically proven. Both research from California, Colorado, Texas, and Canada in total have professed the scientific and medicinal benefits of cannabis for a number of ailments. It says prostate cancer, diabetes, hypertension. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN, has 3 series, I think 4 now, Weed 1, 2, and 3. I say all that in a mouthful of English to say that Grenada is lagging behind and may get left. And I'm just petrified of what is happening here with respect to the use of marijuana. It's illegal, so you can't use it. And when you use it, the penalties are so draconian and excessive that it criminalizes our youth who will
Yeah.
be found with 5 marijuana cigarettes, and they're charged $1,000, $1,500, or 6 months in prison, 12 years in prison, because the law is so draconian. It says for simple possession in Grenada, you could be charged $250,000 or 5 years in prison. And sometimes I wonder, which attorney general in his right mind, having regard to the society, the economics of the society, would countenance such draconian and excessive sentences for the consumption of the herb. Now, let me tell you this. Before we get into anything, let me lay a certain foundation. I'm also a citizen of Canada, and I'm a proud Canadian too, as a
Right.
Canadian. And we had worked when I was there. We had worked very meticulously throughout the Ottawa Carleton riding, because I attended then Carleton University, to educate people. So it's all an educational process as to both the medicinal, both the recreational, and the possible harmful effects.
Right.
Because depending on certain people and the constitution, it can escalate some psychotic reaction in certain people. But that is well treated. And there have been judgments all over the Caribbean and all over the world, legalizing and decriminalizing the use of cannabis.
Yeah, but
But
what
I
is
don't want to
hold on? What about
speak
the
too
notion?
much. I give you some time to question me.
Yeah, no, what is it? What about the question of cannabis or marijuana being a stepping stone drug? Like people would start taking, and I guess that is one of the concerns. That has been one of the concerns where you have people saying, okay, it's a stepping stone drug. You start taking marijuana, and that you might want to upgrade to a higher
Yeah,
higher.
yeah. That is fallacious. That
Okay.
is wrong. That the science, and we must follow the science wherever it takes us.
Uh-huh.
There is an abundance of evidence that marijuana, you cannot overdose on marijuana. Dr. Sanjay Gupta said so. And
Right.
he's a neurologist. And not he alone, a scientist from Great Britain, where it's been decriminalized, from Germany, from Canada, where it's been legalized and decriminalized, from certain states of the Great Union, these United States, so that there's an abundance of scientific evidence that points to the fact, inescapable conclusion scientifically, that you cannot overdose in it, and it doesn't have a deleterious effect from frequent use. That is scientifically accepted in the international scientific community. So that now that we are in this critical and, as it were, trying economic times, we have no agricultural product that we can export. So what this government has done, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, I'm listening.
Good,
I'm
very
listening.
well. What this government has done, they have begun to sell Grenadian sovereignty.
Mm-hmm.
It's called a CBI program, Citizen by Investment Program.
Right.
And 2/3 of the passports are being sold to Chinese. And they have come in here now, they have taken over Livero. And there's a river just project where they block the beaches. And you know how the Chinese treated Gambia, where they took over the finance ministry there. You saw how
Yeah.
they kicked up black people in China, some students. That was all over the world. And they are now coming to take over Grenada through citizenship by investment. But let me tell you how.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a citizen and you come in and you choose to live here, because it's all kind of thing, investment and all kinds of surreptitious ways of collecting money, when we have a legitimate way by planting cannabis and export it. But so what they're doing is they're selling these citizenship documents to every part, the Middle East, Iranians, you name it. They have Grenadian citizenship. And very soon they will pass legislation that they can vote wherever they are.
Mm.
Because Section 8 of the CBI Act tells you when it comes to voting and stuff, go to the Representation of the People's Act. God knows what is going to become of Grenada. It's up for sale, and it's up for sale in the most vulgar context. And I am saying that if we have proper planning, as was done in Antigua, Trinidad and Tobago decriminalized, St. Vincent decriminalized, we, because of the fertility of our soil, Grenada is known to be one of the few countries in the world, with the exception of Indonesia, where nutmeg could be grown, and we have the best nutmeg.
Mm-hmm.
Ghana grows a number of cocoa, but we have the best cocoa. Our soil is so conducive to the growth of agricultural products that if we should get on the international market, Grenada would turn Kuwait. What oil did for Kuwait, cannabis would do for Grenada overnight because of the potency of our soil. And therefore, we can grow cannabis for a variety, a multiplicity of reasons and ailments. But these guys here don't want that. They want to get the money under the table. They don't care much about legalizing anything because they will be putting money in the hands of ordinary Grenadians. If you know what they prefer to do? Give people license to plant sugarcane, cane coke, all over Western, all thing, St. Andrews, sugarcane. And in the summer, some of the financial elites, they like to drive around and see Grenadians cutting cane as they did in 1823, 1834, before emancipation in 1838, rather than planting marijuana for export and putting money in the hands of ordinary Grenadians, so they wouldn't be dependent on 6 weeks of debushing. I just wanted to make that point, because I know there will be a Grenadian audience in Brooklyn listening.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If this government would find it convenient, we could plant marijuana for export, get growers to come in, because you have to plant a certain strain. We have the land, and it would increase our GDP. Colorado, they ran out of marijuana in Colorado. The first day they declared it legal, and they made over $2-3 billion.
Well, yeah,
From
because what I
soil.
was saying was Canada on this article that we just put on the screen there, where Canada, the cannabis in Canada pot industry added $8.26 billion to the GDP.
Yeah.
And in quite contrast, we had a situation just a few weeks ago where one individual, a former media practitioner, was arrested for having just a few plants of cannabis of marijuana in his
Yeah.
backyard.
Yeah, well, this is it. And the problem with that too is this. We are under the OECS Supreme Court. Okay? So what you should have is a harmonization of sentencing guidelines and rules. So that if someone is caught in Antigua, let us say, well, let us not go to Antigua. Let's say St. Kitts, because Antigua has just decriminalized. And he's found with an ounce of marijuana. He is subject to be fined in Grenada $250,000. That's the maximum. Well, the magistrate don't give the maximum. They do exercise the discretion, but they always fine you once you plead guilty to simple possession. And he's subject to imprisonment of 5 years. It doesn't happen, they'll charge you $500. But a poor man with 5 marijuana sticks, $500 is a lot of money. If even he was selling it, he couldn't make more than $100. Okay. I say all that to say that, look, man, this economy is in shambles. There's no safety net. Okay? We continue to portray ourselves as beggars. We were the International Monetary Fund, we were the World Bank. If CDC don't give some money, or if their friends in China, because the Chinese taking over Grenada. It's only a matter of time. Because if, and they would force Mitchell to go by electronic voting to overcome the 12 months residence requirement to vote. And once that happens, our sovereignty would be whittled down and we can never put a government in office. Grenadians would suffer.
But Clouden, the idea of legalization of marijuana is not a partisan issue because you know party come, party go. No one tackle the legalization of marijuana. Yeah.
Well, that is it, but it's not a partisan issue. But both NDC and NMP refuse to put their proposal to the nation. We have
Right.
elections coming up shortly. And I think the party that comes out, because there's always this fear, I don't know what the fear is. The preponderance of scientific evidence leads in one direction. And if you want to improve yourself and avoid begging everybody for a dollar, hey, man, you got to be resilient and plant your own. And banana was once a good crop here. Nutmeg, cocoa, spices. Now they want to form a corporation to take all of that over. These guys are addicted to money. This is why they went to CBI. And they can get the money in all kinds of ways.
Claude, when you say these guys, when you say these guys, who exactly you're talking about? Who
Well, I'm
specifically you're
speaking
talking
of the current administration.
about? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And they have refused. I've been protesting. I have been calling on the good Lord to inspire them to think right and see the benefit that would accrue to Grenada. It would make us another little Kuwait because we could produce the best weed for medicine and recreation, and there's a market out there. You could send any amount of weed to Canada. The first month Canada legalized, they ran out of weed. They couldn't get weed.
Yeah. I have a question here. We appreciate the comments coming in from the folks in the chat. Teddy Christopher is saying we have to know if we want to decriminalize or legalize marijuana. What are we asking for?
Both. Because you see, you could decriminalize it. That means you'll give a ticket.
Right.
So if you're found with, and they have to determine how much you could be found with. But for medicinal purposes, you don't need to be found with anything. You grow a certain strain, you extrapolate the CDB, and that has a multiplicity over 100,000 compounds. And then the scientists will tell you the strain to grow. Grow this for epilepsy. Grow this for colon cancer. Grow this strain for this cancer.
Right.
Grow that for the men who can't quite get an erection. Well, it's good for the prostate. So you grow that, and then saw palmetto, that and the thing, you could make prolific love. And we have it there in the midst of water, in the abundance of water. The fool is thirsty.
Yeah.
And don't mind what you do in Grenada. Don't mind how you beg them. Get a scientific community. You have a medical school here. You have all the scientific reports from Canada, from California, from Colorado, from New York. I mean, you name it. Use it. See what they say. Prepare for it. And introduce proper legislation that's sending your young people to jail. That's what's happening, and they can't travel because once they have a conviction for possession of narcotics, the U.S. Embassy not giving them visas, so they can't go to school. So they put them in TAMC. What TAMC? What you call it? What you call this thing? The new laws. And you see them as traffic wardens and doing nothing. It's an unproductive community and society because everybody depends on massa. You have to be a godfather or you call it, Marlon Brando in the days of Al Capone. We don't need that. You
Right.
need independent people working hard, making money, sending their children to school, buying a fridge, putting an indoor toilet because they're cultivating herbal medicine.
Yeah. Nick Cox is asking, who would we sell it to?
I mean, who sell it to? Canada is there. They will take any amount. The Prime Minister, St. Vincent, had a nice contract with them. They need weed. They tell you what strain to grow. I remember years ago, I came back after I had gone to Canada. The college, the Niagara College, had courses in growing, how you grow. Well, this thing is scientific. And eventually it would be in tablet form, all kinds of forms. Doctors would be prescribing it as they do now. The point is, what you have to do is regulate. You understand, my brother?
Yes. Yes. Guys, again, we want your voice on the topic. First topic here, we're talking with Anslem Clouden, is a lawyer from Grenada. We're talking about the legalization or the decriminalization of marijuana. We have to be clear on what we're asking for, what we're looking for, and the benefit, the pros and the cons about marijuana. We learned from in 2019, Canada, right, who have legalized the industry, brought in over $8.29 billion to their GDP, which is great, which is a great thing. But in the current construct, Anslem, do you think that it is pressure from places from the US why administration after administration never really look at the possibility of legalizing marijuana? Or what is the stumbling block? Why can't they just do it?
I don't know. I told you one stumbling block. The other stumbling block is we have a set of coward politicians. Over 35 states in the United States of America have decriminalized or legalized. Now, before the federal law and the division of separation of powers between states and the federal government has jurisdiction over airports and interstate commerce and that sort of thing. So you can't move the weed across borders.
Right.
And this is why Canada, as Canada always was, man. God bless Canada, old Canada. What a great country. Look, they legalize it so you could import it. A province, you could go and negotiate with a province now. Alberta State, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, BC. You negotiate with them and you say, well, we would be shipping such and such, 100,000 bales of high-grade marijuana for this purpose, that purpose, as the case may be. They would have their supervisory people here looking at the quality and testing quality and everything. And you ship it into Alberta. It's legalized. You know what I mean, man? When you go to Canada now, they ask you if you have alcohol and any cannabis to declare. The reason you declare it is because they charge you a little tax on it. Not they'll lock you up.
Right.
So we got to become civilized. In the Netherlands, you go in a restaurant after dinner, you ask for your little weed, chocolate coffee and what the hell. Why are we treating our people like this? You ever sit down and think about it, man? Right?
No, well,
over his dead body, he would not decriminalize or legalize marijuana. And now the young people at Grenada are standing up against him. I am not surprised that the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Mitchell, may someday say he has a change of heart because there's money in it to be made. And the CBI faltering because of the corruption and it's exposed everywhere. Look at the farm project, the shrimp farm project. What they did, they amend the law so they could do what they have to do, and after they do what they have to do, they introduce legislation to correct it. Man, let me tell you, any political party in Grenada that in honesty come to the people and let them know the alternative to economic development rather than being beggars, they're going to embrace that party and they would form a government, and I would advise them accordingly.
Again, guys, we're talking here with Anslem Clouden. Sorry, I almost called your wrong name, and a range of topics we want to talk about. Legalization of marijuana is a very big topic, and more so it has been topical because at this point, a lot of people are asking themselves, when the Prime Minister and the administration come out and talk about hotels and building new hotels and the new economy and what the new economy would look like, people are saying, but it doesn't seem as it's really connecting with the people. At the end of at the other side of this COVID, at the other side of the new economy, might be in agriculture, and that's could be a part of the development of agriculture because it would bring in so much money into the economy. Not hotel, because that would rely on external forces and people right now when traveling.
But you're so right, man. You have the point dead on, because let me tell you, but the Prime Minister once said that his father died a poor man because he was in agriculture. So he has a disdain and dislike for agriculture. So, but he's a millionaire. He declared to the nation that he is enriched to the tune of 19 million. And that's why he's there, man, and don't want this legalization and decriminalization coming in, because he's there to protect the financial elite like himself. Anyhow, let's move on to the beaches, because that's another sore topic.
Yeah. I really want to talk about that because as it relates to the beach and the access to the beach, I recently saw you did a. How you holding up there with that wine? How you holding up there with that wine, Anslem?
Good, man. Good. I love my wine, man. Look, man. Look. There's a part of the book of Ecclesiastes that says, go eat thy bread. He said, how you enjoy life. Go eat thy bread with joy and drink your wine with a merry heart.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing right now.
All right, Anslem. Well, okay, in St. David's.
Enjoy life when you have it. Praise God, we have this COVID down here. And if this guy had listened to me since February, we would have not even had 22 cases. I was advocating the close down of the country in February and on the 17th of March, and every Grenadian knows that.
Okay, all right, Anslem. Here's the next question. I want to move to the current situation. It's the situation in St. David's where residents are being allegedly blocked from entering public beaches. You are an outspoken critic on that. What is the latest where that stands, and is the access way still blocked for residents of St. David's?
Well, look, I was told unofficially, I haven't had the advantage of visiting the location, but I've been told that they have opened the gate. But this is piecemeal stuff. Let me tell you, man, I have been advocating. I'm a maritime lawyer, so when I graduated from maritime school, Dalhousie University, Nova Scotia, Canada, I got my first job on the NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, in Boulder, Colorado. They sent me to the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John, to advise the governor, at the time, Governor Wang Louis. I had a contract on the implementation of a Coastal Zone Management Act and oil spill contingency plan. And that was the two things that I concentrated on, okay? And let me tell you one of the things we came up with. Because in those little places too, these guys come in with their money. They could buy the whole island, you know. And sometimes they buy this, they buy so much here, there, and everywhere. beaches that were traditionally used for recreation on certain occasions. For example, Emancipation Day. Not only in our time, but in times of slavery and emancipation, the slaves flocked to the beaches and recreated. That's well documented. So our people, wherever they are, go to the beaches on certain occasions. Some do it every day, some do it also, and some do it on festive days. They take the family, they spread a thing on the sand and feed everybody. From the day one of those Europeans, the Americans, whoever come, Canadians are not guilty of this sin, this grievous sin. They put up a gate to buy property close to the beach, and they block the entrance.
Mm-hmm.
And the natives can't go to the beach, and they're so timid because half of them depend on a handout. So you can't motivate them as Morris did when they went to Mount Donald and broke down the gate. This thing has been happening. It's been happening in Grenada more so than anywhere else. I remember when a fellow sang a song in Barbados, that beach is mine, I could bathe there anytime.
Yeah, that was Gabby. That was Gabby.
Gabby, that was an outcry because the folks were coming in just as they do now. Some guys advertise the property on the beach as being private. But let me tell you what the law is. And I've been saying this, and I'm going to sue the government on it. One judge who came down here said that if any citizen comes to him with an application for an injunction restraining those coastal proprietors from blocking the beach, he would grant it. Let me tell you, man. In the law of the sea that governs coastal law, every coastal proprietor must give, as a matter of law, access to the common heritage, what in America you call eminent domain.
Right.
It's the right of the people. That's why the government could say you can't sand mine on the beach. So how the hell they could stop the public from going there? And these so-called politicians, some of these lawyers you have in cabinet too, is a set of jokers, you know. When we wake up in Grenada, what's going to happen? These folks will take over the whole damn country. One guy in Lansapina advertises on his thing that he has a private beach. Look, the time has come. I have said so to Prime Minister Mitchell and his cabinet. If you cannot manage a country, we're not living in the 1990s now. And the young people are going to take the vanguard in this. Just resign, man. Call elections quickly and let the people put a government in that would be protective of their interests. You're just selling out the country, man. I'm telling you, Grenada was never for sale. Introduce concrete, systemic, economic principles and policies, and we would move forward. You don't have the Chinese owning liver and there and everywhere. You know how insular they are. They block the whole thing and no access. And our children and grandchildren, even to the third generation, Grenada is for Grenadians, not no citizen by investment. So they cannot vote, technologically or otherwise. We would wither down our citizenship. This is why Canada imposed a visa requirement on Grenadians. When two Chinese go to the Canadian border and couldn't speak a word of English and didn't even know the country, whose passport they were carrying.
As I said, you see, Clouden is very passionate about these things, and he's also passionate about the wine. Clouden,
Yes, sir.
slow on the wine, slow on the wine. We have another half an hour.
What man? Wine is a mocker, man. The Bible says strong drink is raven.
Okay.
Wine is a mocker, and he who is deceived thereby is unwise.
Okay, all right, okay, Clouden. Clouden, are you satisfied with the they say it's not the lease of the waterfall, it's monetization of the property at Annandale. It has been a very topical issue. Are you satisfied with the bidding process? and that
Not
the
at
bidding
all.
process went through the whole the process that it's supposed to go through.
Not at all, my brother. Not at all. But
Talk
I
to us
want to make
about
it
it. Talk to us
clear
about it.
something. Yeah, not at all. I'm not at all satisfied. That was preordained. Whoever got it, they had been preordained to get it.
So you're saying here, based on your knowledge, and we would still put a ledge to it because we don't have the facts in front of us.
Nor do I. But I'm giving you what I heard. And I'm on
Right,
the ground all the time.
right,
I hear the cry of the people because I'm one of them.
right. So were there other bidders on the Annandale project?
I've been so advised.
You the lawyer, sir. You the lawyer. You would know all the ways to word this. Because I listened to the interview, a recent interview that was done, and the gentleman who is, I believe, I believe is a brother. He said in the interview that he heard of the availability of the place for lease, so he heard about it. And so I asked a few other friends, like, have you heard about it? And no one actually heard about the process or when was time for them to bid. Although I think it's a good idea to monetize the area, because now it could bring more money for the country. It's not a bad idea, but the bidding process, people
I
are very
agree with
concerned
you.
about that.
There must be fairness, man. Justice is fairness. There must be fairness in everything. And the government, look, man, this government is the government of all the people of Grenada, not one set of people. If you hear how this money that they got for COVID-19 was being distributed, the hungry people got very little, man. It's the hoteliers and all these people. But let me tell you something, man. Mugabe remained in power for an inordinately long time. And when it became evident to everyone around him that he was beginning to lose it, they very, very humanly and with great compassion, having regard to his prowess as a freedom fighter, they took him into protective custody and ensured that he enjoyed the rest of his days in comfort. All right? Okay, man.
We're going to be looking at that a little bit closer, and we're also going to make a call because I want to understand. I want to talk to the brothers, the family. I want to know their plans. I want to see the idea because although I think it's a great idea, but I need to understand the process. The next topic,
I'm not opposing that. I'm not opposing that. It's
right?
a good idea, a good plan. But what I'm saying, I don't know much about it, but what I heard, that's ground talk. You know where I am. You see where I run up? I go up in a little shop here where I can drink my wine and chat and everything. So what I'm saying is, I don't know the intricacies
Right.
or the nitty gritty of it, but I'm satisfied with whoever has it and would develop it, and it will become, a touristic
Right.
showcase.
I hear
But
that.
there ain't no tourism now. So it
Yeah.
gives them time to prepare. And there won't be any tourism for a long time. So when this guy goes on television and says he has a new hotel coming up, it tells you that he's not with it. It's time to step back. Because there won't be tourism for a very long time to come. No sane person would jump on any plane and you see how many people getting infected now by air travel, let alone sea travel. We should put $1 billion in agriculture and
Yeah.
we would be a prosperous nation. Agriculture in every sector, including cannabis,
Yeah. Guys,
including sugarcane.
I want the viewers and them to call in.
Well, let your folks call in and let me
Yeah,
talk.
yeah. Let it call in. Let it call in, guys. This is the number. This is the number.
Want
This
to
is the
call
number
the
right here.
program now. I'm comfortable with that.
718-701-5720. 718-701-5720. We're talking here with Attorney Anslem Clouden, as I said, he don't hold his tongue, especially when he whine a couple of times. He don't hold his tongue. He's very, very vocal on this topic. Hence the reason why I think he's the appropriate person to give us some focus in terms of what's happening, right? So far, we talk about the legalization of marijuana, which is an important aspect, is an important thing that people need to look at, because we're looking at the other side of COVID. We're looking at if marijuana, for that matter, is adding so much to the GDP, should that be considered in the Caribbean region, in Grenada especially, which, you know, they're struggling right now because they say that SGU contributed over 30% to the GDP, and a lot of the students are not even back. And then we have so much other, they say the economy basically contracted about 50%, 50% of less revenues coming into the country, which might say, well, okay, well, what are some of the new avenues that we could look at to gain finances? And quite possibly that might be it. But there are still some concerns. How the population going to react to it, right? How the population going to react to it? And should it be a sudden or gradual integration of the legalization or the decriminalization of marijuana, or should it be something that is just full blown and okay, it's legalized? So what is the process going to look like? That is to be seen. That is to be heard. All right. That's the first topic we're talking about. Then we spoke a little bit about the situation with the blockage of the beaches and we just finished speaking about Annandale Fall and the acquisition. It's not a full acquisition.
Program in New York.
You hear me?
George. What's the name of the program?
Yeah, Ridealong. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about. 718-701-5720. We are yet to speak about. Okay, we got a call. Let's take this call. Caller, you live? Where you calling us from?
Junior.
Hey.
What's going on, man? Spice, man.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I had to call in. I was listening to the program, and I had to call in because I got three things I want to talk about.
Okay.
It's leading up to what Mr. Clouden was talking about.
Right.
Okay, first thing, I'm gonna speak about the marijuana part, right?
Right. Hold on. Let me make sure. Hold on a second, caller. Let me make sure. Clouden, you hearing the caller?
I'm here, man. But I'm not hearing the caller, but I'm hearing you.
Okay, you're hearing me, but you're not hearing the caller. All right, listening. Okay, caller, go right ahead.
Yeah. Okay. The first, it seemed like Grenada
the caller.
stuck in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like Mr. Clouden was saying, if you look at the United States and Canada, even they didn't legalize marijuana,
Right.
but they decriminalized it.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
But for some reason, our politicians in Grenada, they still stuck in the old time days.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not blaming the prime minister so much. I'm blaming the people of Grenada who don't want to stand up for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Mr. Clouden said, we got more youth in Grenada than older people.
Right.
So how are you gonna sit there and tell me that you're so disgruntled with the things that's going on with the government, but nobody get out there and vote? I speak to a lot of Grenadians, and you know what I hear from them? I don't vote. So if you're so mad at what's going on, how come people don't go vote? Why we can't form a party that we could have the young people that graduating from college and all this stuff to represent a new party and put somebody in office that represents the people, the younger generation.
Yes.
So I mean, like we just keep going backwards and backwards and backwards. Like you can't say nothing that's gonna change something in Grenada. I think this is what I see. Politicians in Grenada, they do things that could benefit their pocket.
Right.
Okay. If you wouldn't benefit the people in office, they're not gonna do it. They don't give a damn about people in the country. I'm just saying. I know they may be listening and they're gonna maybe try to stop me from coming to Grenada, but it's true. And they don't want to hear the truth. That's the problem. Like you say, tourism is not coming back anytime soon.
Right.
Okay. So we have a lot of land in Grenada. Let's grow. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
You go anywhere in New York and you go all over the place and you could see bananas from anywhere in the Caribbean. You can't see nothing from Grenada. And we got so much banana. We got fish. Fishermen in Grenada can't even sell fish. They're holding it, but there's no market. And you see fish in New York, DC area. You see fish from everywhere, bonita, everything, but nothing from Grenada.
You're right.
So what's going on? I want to know what's going on. Who are they helping? Who are they fooling? You know, that's my thing. Who are they fooling with this foolishness about We're building 3 hotels. We're building one in St. David's. We're building another one in Lansing. Who are they fooling with crap? Ain't nobody coming into hotels.
Right.
This is for their own personal gain. That's what it is. So, and that's the problem. And until, like I say, the youth get out there and get people in office to represent them and represent what they believe, it's not going to happen. It's just like the United States.
Yeah. Caller, point
If
taken.
black people don't go out there and vote, guess what? The
Point well
president's going to
taken.
win again. And we're going to have the same crap going on over and over.
Point well
So
taken.
that is the problem in Grenada. And you can't say nothing, because if you say something, people scared to talk, because if the government that is there win the election, then people get blackballed. You can't get a job because you speak up against the government. But if everybody put their head in one and they go out there and I won't say demonstrate, but protest the things that is going on in Grenada, it's people gonna start making changes.
Yeah.
You have to be able to affect changes, and nobody want to do that. We have so much people that is capable, but nobody want to do it because everybody's scared of the repercussions of that government. And I don't understand it, but that's the fact. That is the reality in Grenada.
All right, caller.
It's not
Point
going to
taken.
change unless we change it.
Let me hear Anslem's reaction to that. But thanks for calling. Thanks for tuning in to Ride Along Live. We appreciate you. All right. Clouden, is it that the people are scared to rise up against the government for fear that there might be some sort of repercussion that might come against them because they stand up and speak or protest?
The marvelous new awakening with respect to the young people of the
Uh-huh.
country. In events of recent past, the young people have demonstrated their resilience and their determination for good governance.
Yes.
There are instances beginning with what had happened in Fort Judy, with this guy who literally slapped up a local for bunking his dog. And they tried to bury that.
Right.
The youth came out. In St. David's, in recent times, the blockage of that gate to that marina, and there was quite a march. And there have been articulation by young people. They're now fed up. They want change. The government has been there for too long. 25 years, and nothing has changed. They've been selling our passports, as I have here Tufo explained. But I have confidence that things are going to change because the young people have stood up. They're not afraid. They
Yes.
have nothing to lose. As was said, they have nothing to lose but the chains. They have been in captivity. Their parents were NMP, their parents, and they have come out now in revolt. Better living conditions, better working conditions, and the freedom that they require by way of access to the beaches of the country. Okay? And they're going to make the voices heard. I think that in the months leading up to the election, you would see a marvelous new awakening of youthful exuberance throughout the entire country.
Yeah.
And I'm there to guide them as a senior citizen, to guide them through it. Because I've been in town for a long time, since my return from Canada.
Yeah, I see your daughter there, Toya. She's saying hi, and she's giving you enough props for what you say.
That's my lovely daughter, Tonya.
Tonya. Yeah, she's watching.
Tunes.
She's watching.
My grandson.
We almost out of time.
She's a nurse.
Clouden. We almost out of time, but time run when we're having fun. I said we have to do this conversation more often. But here's the last thing I want to touch on, right? It have to do with the recent bill or the recent proposed bill that was shut down before it was tabled in Parliament in regards to the increase and enhanced police powers and the lack of community support, the lack of outreach to the community,
Yeah.
And after it seems like the AG and the Prime Minister seem to support more outreach after the fact. Why wasn't that an initial? Why wasn't it first presented to the bar, as Derek Sylvester said it
Yeah.
wasn't? And why didn't
Because
they do all of that stuff prior to just storming the bill on Grenadians?
when they tried to slip it through without circulating the bill to the bar, as is customary in civilized countries, the bar is responsible because we are all lawyers. It's a lawyer draft the bill and a lawyer to scrutinize it. But they wanted to slip it in. And let me tell you why. Because I spoke on it at the gathering of those conscious lawyers. Section 25 of that proposed bill would have resulted in mayhem in the country. Let me tell you why. It says that if someone is suspected of being infected by the virus, I call it convict 19 because it's a convict. It holds you, it captures you, and it kills you. COVID-19, somebody could meet an officer, not a health practitioner, and say that they suspect that you have COVID. And under the bill, as proposed, that police officer, not a health inspector, can come into your house, kick your door down with you and your family in there, apprehend you, and the stupidity of the bill was, well, if you suspect the man have COVID, the best thing to do is guard up yourself with all the proper protective clothing and get health professionals to go and apprehend him and bring him for treatment.
Right.
But that is not the purpose of the bill. So it says that when the police go in, the police had authority to kick down your door, madam, on suspicion, based on hearsay evidence, go into your house, apprehend you, and your family may be too, because God knows. And if you were taken to the police station, how they would do all of that, I don't know. The modalities weren't properly worked out. Then they could fine you $25,000 and 12 months in prison, and they can confiscate your property. Now tell me, man, we are all intelligent people. What the hell does that have to do with COVID? Because if you apprehend me and I have it, the best you can do for me is treat me. You don't want to imprison me. And if I have it, you'll send me up in jail for that was a design of the government to come into your premises. What they've been doing in recent times under the money laundering statute, the Proceeds of Crime Act, is taking poor people money, going into their houses, no charge, under the guise that they get a warrant and they go in and they search, and if they find money, then they take it and say, if you can't justify the source of it, then you money launder. And the government has been surreptitiously advantaging the poor, because most of the fellows that they take up are those guys that have fishing boat and thing. And look, man, who say you have to go to the bank? You can have your money and keep it in your mattress, as our foreparents used to do when there
Yeah.
were no banks. And how could they come into your house under the guise that are coming for drugs and find money and take it to the state and buy themselves fabulous vehicles and the like? That is what has been happening. So
Anslem, pull back
I've been
yourself a little bit.
challenging
You're
it
really
now.
close to the camera. You're really close to the camera. We can't really see you at all. Just push back a little bit.
I have been challenging all of that.
Uh-huh.
Because, look, man, you can't say you take a money because a man has done and is guilty of some unlawful conduct when all you do, you find money in his house. I've gotten a few clients, money back for them, but that is a practice that the government now supports. They're so bankrupt that they have gone into the homes of the poor. When they get their money, whatever they do, they get a little money. They hold them on their boat. It's a struggle to get their boats back for them when they come in from St. Vincent. The man prohibited the thing here. Everybody's smoking, so where the weed don't come from? And when the weed come in, you give a man $200,000 fine, 10 years in jail. What are we doing to our people?
So, are you saying, Clouden? Are you saying that the entire bill need to just be trashed, or you think there's some
Well,
good elements
we
in the
stood
bill?
up. I stood up and I spoke to it because to give a police access without a warrant to come into your house since 1255 Magna Carta, they say no man. Lord Shelton in the Bill of Rights in 1688 said a man house is his castle, man. And no man can come into his house save and except by due process of law.
But Claudine, let me
These
question
guys
you on
are
that.
giving
Hold on,
police
Claudine, let me question
permission
you
to
on that.
come and
Let me question your due diligence of law, right? If a police officer is walking down the street, right, dressed in his uniform, and as he reach in front of the block, he hears somebody crying out for their life inside their house. By law, is the police authorized to break that door and go inside that house?
In those circumstances, yes. But those are limited circumstances
Uh-huh.
on reasonable and probable grounds
Right,
that a criminal offense is being committed under
right.
the Public Order Act. They're entitled to go in there, but that is not the same circumstance as giving them cash blank to come into your house, kick down your door, pick a man up, bring him to the station. Suppose a man have COVID. The point I'm making is you need a medical certified officer properly cladded with protective gear to come to apprehend any suspected COVID patient, man. Not a police. He don't get it too. And if you bring him to the station, you'll contaminate everybody in the station. That tells you the stupidity of those who sit in the Buck Rogers so-called cabinet and make these Buck Rogers decisions without consideration for the people and the interests of the people. I'm not running for a political office. I don't care about that, but justice is fairness, man. And you must be fair to your people.
Right, right. And it goes a lot deeper. My concern is what is the status of that bill. We had, I think sometime last week we put a call to
You
invite
have to
the
call the bill. You have to call the bill. You have
right.
to call the bill. The bill is no longer passed. Now I hear they come up with some regulations. If you don't wear your mask, $1,000. If you don't wear your mask, say your kid don't wear the mask, $1,000. And come on, we are all subject to human imperfection and human vicissitude. Somebody may walk out the car and say, "Oh shit!" You leave your mask and you run back, you get your mask. In the process of leaving your car and going back to your car, if a police or anybody apprehend you without your mask, you got to pay $1,000. Is that right in these COVID days? Half of the country unemployed. Where they get the money to pay $1,000? And you want to send all your citizens to prison for simple human infractions? They're not thinking. The time has come. This government should resign, call general elections next year, and free the Grenadian people up. That's my position, and I would maintain it. I have nothing to do with politics. I just want to see fairness and justice.
What are your projection? What's your hope for the next government? Do you think that
All my hope is to get a coalition government. I don't think NDC by itself can
what's
defeat
the
me.
makeup? Yeah, what's the
Put
makeup?
your
That's
hand,
what I want to know. Franca
you get
Bernardine.
any amount of money you want from the Chinese. First of all, they should say we want to go back to Taiwan because Taiwan are human and they did a great deal for our agriculture. All the Chinese are doing here is buying up property and stuff, to eventually keep us out of the beaches and everything, as they did in Africa. So we ain't thinking with that. Bring the Taiwanese back to help us. They were helping us all along, and they didn't want anything.
Yeah.
This is one China thing policy. That's a matter for China. That's not for us. Why we flagging this what two system or what the hell? You see what's happening in Hong Kong? Hong Kong know on the real manners. I don't know, man. What Grenada need a change? What we have no moral compass. We have no political compass. We are a ship at sea, tossed to the huge wave of fate, which hangs uncertain as to which side to fall. And whether it will bring us up the land or take us out to sea, back out to sea to the deep waves of death we know not. And no search would let us know. Only the event would teach us in this hour. And when
Yeah.
that hour comes, I call on every Grenadian to go to the poll, the ballot. The vote we fought for it, our forefathers fought for it. The vote is not to be taken lightly. If we don't lose it, we would lose it. These guys start talking about Singapore model, and you should hear them as though they want to be there for the rest of their lives. Democracy doesn't entail it. Grenada has always been a democratic country. And when these dictators rise up, there is always a way of getting them out. And I pray God that when the election is called, Grenadians would go to the polls in their numbers to change the course and introduce a new captain with a new compass for the country.
Yeah, we had a question that came in earlier from on a watch party from Vic. He was asking, said, Junior, this is a question for Clouden. He said, why police are locking up people for marijuana and 90% of the police smoke? Is it that they are not tested?
But let me tell
Not testing the police.
let me tell you a secret. Lawyers smoke, judges smoke,
Eh?
doctors smoke. Everybody smokes. If you don't smoke, something wrong with you. Meditation, you go to church, how you going to react? They haven't yet discovered that this is the wisdom weed. A high court in St. Kitts allowed the Rastafarian to smoke religiously as part of the ritual because
Right.
they can chant to Jah.
Yeah. Listen,
I am tired now. All
yeah,
you know what I enjoy now most of all, my brother? Spending time with my grandchildren,
yeah,
going sailing.
yeah.
When I get this opportunity, and I'm grateful for it, to
It
address
was
the
nice.
people and tell them what I think and
It
how
was
I
nice
feel.
having this conversation with you, Clouden. Continue to be an outspoken critic whenever it comes to anything that for the betterment of the country. Because I think that folks like yourself, the legal system, you have a very very important role to play. Because if the legal system, the lawyers who understands this law so well, stay quiet, what is the system going to come to? And it's not a partisan issue. You should be able to witness and see things that would affect the country preemptively, because you understand the law. And it don't matter if it's NNP, NDC, or whichever new administration comes in, you should be the voice of the people, like the media, like
My
the
brother, I gave Grenada a maritime boundary. I gave them an additional 6 miles of maritime space, water, 6 miles. When the late Prime Minister of Trinidad, I have it on my TV, we went to Trinidad for the signing ceremony. At that time, Prime Minister Tillman Thomas was there. And Prime Minister Manning spent about 60 seconds or more shaking my hand and said to me, of blessed memory, Tony, you're the guy that caused us to give all your 6 more miles of water. Well, I very circumspectly said to him, oh, Mr. Prime Minister, I just did what the law of the sea required. And he smiled, and I have it on my tape.
right.
Look, man, I am committed. I'm a Caribbean, as you know. And
Yes.
I have advocated the secession of Caribbean. I am not too sure that I would not resurrect that call now, having regard to the deplorable situation in my homeland.
Yeah.
And you will have a lot to do because I've come up to the United States to address the Congress because they had invited me 20-something years ago.
Yeah.
We may have to find our own pathway for our people. If you're sick in Caribou, you come down on a boat and they
Yeah.
put you on the floor. There is no air ambulance. And when you get to St. George's, if it's raining, you can't even disembark. And the ambulance, there's no gangway. There is no provision for senior citizens from Car who board in the boat. I have been clamoring for it. I've been speaking on it. But I'll tell you what, I am going to internationalize it very, very soon. My brother, it's been a great pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
I'm grateful to you for having me on the program. I hope I have explained the situation of Grenada to the people in honesty and in truth.
Yeah, always, 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 and always good having you as a guest here on the program. Clouden, any contact information? I know that a lot of people in the US here, people locally, always trying to get a good lawyer to engage with different things. I know you are an expert in maritime affairs.
That is correct. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And I told you I gave Grenada a bungee. Look, man.
yeah,
So
and
that's
in another interview, I want to explore the question of oil resources.
Yeah.
And you would know all about the maritime borders between Grenada and Trinidad and Venezuela. You would have all this information there.
I was privy to the border itself.
Okay, well, you
I
were the
was
one.
advisor to the government at the time. I was Ambassador Clouden
Right.
advising the government of Grenada and encountering Ambassador Thompson from Trinidad, and we argued, went in the plenary for 3 days, and I succeeded in getting 6 more miles of seawater for Grenada.
Right. Well,
Let
you
history record that.
that's a full conversation we need to have the next turnaround here on Ridealong. But we appreciate you, Clouden. We really and sincerely appreciate you. And any last word you want to leave with before we wrap it up?
Well, boy, I just hope I want to say how pleased I am and how circumspect and I am in paying tribute to Governor Como.
Yes.
Took New York through the most difficult period in the history of that city. And that city was so great, always great. It was so nice they named it twice, New York, New York. I'm a child of New York. And I just want Canadians in New York and the wider diaspora to know that all tribute should go to Governor Como. What a wonderful and great man he is. And he doesn't want to be president, but we have to get rid of Trump. And I support Biden, and I'm calling on all right-thinking Grenadians and Caribbean folks in the diaspora to support Vice President Biden and Sheila Harris. I will cast my vote at the appropriate time.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anslem Clouden. Yeah. And yeah, I said very outspoken on many, many topics. Before we go on, folks, I gotta. Yeah, you know, the next time I have Clouden on, we're gonna have a full discussion on the maritime borders, because this is a very, very, very full topic, right? It has to do with the additional miles of maritime border that's between Grenada and Trinidad, and the possibility that they are. We heard the former Prime Minister Tillman Thomas just last week said that there are oil there, right? And what is being done currently? Because think about it. Although oil is not very a high commodity right now, let's all understand that. But at least if we was in a better position and we had that money, going through this very, very trying times with COVID and 50% less income, there are possibilities. There, you know, Anslem Clouden talk about the possibility of decriminalizing and legalizing marijuana and how much you have brought to different economies in California, in Canada, and other places. And now, if that was a fact, and we had went through the process of trying to, and I'm not saying that getting the oil resources is a cheap venture, right? It's not by no way cheap and a short process. It's a lengthy process. But we need to understand, how do we get it from where it is right now to actually taking the commodity and monetizing the commodity. So all of this discussion we're going to have the next turnaround on the ride here. And yeah, there's a lot to talk about, But we thank you guys for staying abreast of what's happening. I also want to tell you guys really quickly before you go, everybody, I want you to go and log on to this new social media platform. It's called emoji.com. Yeah, emoji.com. It's a brand new social media platform, guys. And you could do a lot over there. So if you have not yet done so, I want you guys to go over to emoji.com. It's spelled emoji.com. EMOOGE. That's how it's spelled. EMOOGE.com. I'll give you guys a quick look at emoji, right? Because I want you guys to love it. Now, the good thing about emoji as well, when you go over to emoji and you sign up with emoji, they give you points. And you could use your points from emoji to buy stuff, tons of stuff, all kind of stuff you could buy from emoji. So this is how it looks. This is how the whole emoji platform look. You go in there and you sign up. In fact, that's my profile page, right? So I could check out all my members, or I could go to my wall. Let's check out the members post and see who been saying what. Is similar to Facebook, guys, but it has so much more stuff designed for our Caribbean culture type of understanding, our Caribbean cultural kind of sensitivities, right? So you go in there and you scroll through all the happenings at emoji, all the posts. We saw some new members that just logged in. Thousands of members, guys, sign in every day to emoji. They post, and I'll show you guys something really interesting, right? Really interesting. Let me go down to the bottom where I could see my points. Well, let me go back to my wall. Let me go to my wall so I can see my points. I'm showing you all of this stuff, so I want to explain to you guys the ease of signing in and participating in the whole emoji platform, right? So whenever you sign in, you get points, and every time you post, you add to your points. And not only that, you could go to the shop, the emoji shop, and buy stuff with your points. And there is masks, there is t-shirt, there is technology devices, there is tablets, all sorts of stuff over on emoji. You don't have to use cash. You could use your points. So right now I have 1,300 points. If I go to the store, I could buy a bunch of stuff only with my points, with no cash, with no credit card. And I get all those points because I post a lot. I post a lot of stuff. I join groups and I post continuously. So that's emoji, guys. So log into it, and when you get over there, just add me as a friend. All right, add me as a friend. Thousands of people already logged on to emoji and always having fun over there on a daily basis. So check it out. It's emoji.com. Again, it's EMOOGE.com. Thank you guys for watching us today. Thank you guys for being a part of our programming. Tomorrow, another interesting program. Wednesday, we're talking immigration with Fun Day. On Thursday, I have the crew from Top 5. Top 5, that very hot program that's here on social media. We're going to have all 5 ladies right here on the ride with me talking about everything Top 5 related. All right. Thank you, guys. Catch me again tomorrow. Peace out. Bye-bye.
That's why I'm down in the me. I'm down in the me, they like a butcher, down in the me.
Hey, I got some good news for you. Looking for a passionate immigration lawyer with experience that spans over 2 decades? Someone trusted that serves immigrant families just like yours? Well, look no more. Now you can benefit from her personal and professional experience. Diane Winter Funde. Schedule a consultation now and get assistance with your immigration journey. Specialize in adjustment of status, B1 business visa, B2 visitors visa, consular processing, deportation defense, naturalization, and more. Give us a call today at 813-815-3529. That's 813-815-3529, or online at winterimmigration.com. Attorney Diane Winter Funde. Law done differently.
You're constantly thinking of food, but sometimes you just don't want to cook or want something a little different. That's when you call Tasties, preparing meals that you really love. Tasties, our mouth-watering food, would have you coming back every day. But hold on, we only prepare meals Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for now. Call early because we have a lot to serve and we would love to serve you. Tasties, we prepare the meals you love to eat. From macaroni pie to baked chicken, provision dumpling and saltfish, stewed chicken, curry chicken, baked chicken, rice and peas, salads, and more. Please call for daily menu. Call 425-0624 or 403-0411. You can pick up your meals from us or we deliver to you. Tasties, food that's delicious.
Hey, did you know that the census is due this year on April 1st? And guess what? This time we can finally count as Caribbean. This year, all you have to do is 1. Check the race box, and 2. Write in your country of birth or ancestry. You can answer by the paper form, online, or by phone. Everybody counts in Census 2020. So count as Caribbean. Yes, we count.